What was Jimin hiding behind that smile, and why did
Jungkook realized the truth only when it was almost too late? A deeply emotional fictional story about exhaustion, hidden pain, misunderstanding, sacrifice, friendship, and the moment one smile finally breaks open a secret that has been carefully hidden for too long. If this story touches your heart, leave a comment and tell us what you felt while reading it. Don't forget to like the story and subscribe to the channel for more emotional, fictional stories like this one. Stay until the very end, because sometimes the person who smiles the brightest is the one silently asking to be noticed. What if the brightest smile in the room was never a sign that someone was happy, but a warning that they had already run out of strength? Jungkook would remember that question for the rest of his life. That night, the rehearsal room was almost empty. The clock on the wall had already passed midnight. Yet the faint sound of music still drifted through the enormous studio. The mirrors reflected tired faces, discarded jackets, half-empty water bottles, and one figure standing beneath the cold white lights. Jimin. He was smiling. He always smiled. That was what made it so difficult for anyone to realize something was wrong. Again? Jungkook asked from across the room. Jimin turned toward him, his chest rising and falling slightly too quickly. Just one more time. Jungkook frowned. You said that 20 minutes ago. Jimin laughed softly. Then I guess I have a bad sense of time. His voice sounded normal. Almost. Jungkook watched him carefully. There was something strange about the way Jimin was standing. His shoulders were relaxed, but his fingers were curled tightly against the fabric of his shirt. Then, for less than a second, Jimin's smile disappeared. His eyes closed. His body swayed, and then he straightened again. The smile returned. See? Jimin said brightly. I'm fine. Jungkook didn't answer, because on the floor behind Jimin, half hidden beneath the edge of a black jacket, was something Jungkook had never seen before. A small white strip of medical tape, and beside it, a crumpled piece of paper. Jungkook took one step toward it. Jimin immediately noticed. His expression changed. Don't. The word was so quiet that Jungkook almost didn't hear it. He stopped. What is that? Nothing? Jimin. It's nothing, Jungkook. The smile returned, but this time it didn't reach his eyes. And for the first time, Jungkook wondered how long his friend had been lying when he said those two words. I'm fine. The following morning, everyone arrived at the studio expecting another ordinary day. Jimin was already there. He had brought coffee for everyone. He greeted the staff with the same warm smile. He joked with the others. He laughed when someone made a mistake during rehearsal. He even teased Jungkook about forgetting his water bottle. You're getting old, Jimin said.
Jungkook rolled his eyes.
You're older than me. Exactly. That's why I have experience. You nearly fell asleep standing up yesterday. Jimin froze for half a heartbeat. Then he laughed. You imagined that? I didn't. You did. I saw you. Then you saw nothing. The others laughed. Jungkook didn't. He kept watching Jimin. There was a faint shadow beneath his eyes. His movements were slower than usual. And every time the music stopped, Jimin discreetly pressed one hand against his side. But whenever someone looked at him, his hand disappeared, like he was hiding evidence. Later that afternoon, they were practicing a difficult section of choreography. The music was loud. The floor shook beneath their feet. Jimin moved perfectly. One turn, two steps, a jump, a sharp movement, then another. He was smiling. But Jungkook noticed something no one else did. Jimin landed from the jump and immediately shifted his weight to his left leg. His breathing became uneven. He tried to continue. 3 seconds. 4, 5. Then his hand caught the mirror. The music stopped. Jimin? Everyone turned. Jimin looked up. He smiled. Sorry. Are you okay? Someone asked. Of course. Jungkook walked toward him. You're pale. I'm just tired. Then sit down. I said I'm fine. The room went silent. Jimin rarely raised his voice. Jungkook stared at him. Jimin's expression softened. Sorry. He looked away. I didn't mean to snap. Jungkook lowered his voice. You don't have to apologize. Jimin smiled again. That smile. Always that smile. I know. But when everyone turned away, Jimin quietly whispered something that Jungkook almost missed. I just need to make it through today. Jungkook looked back. What did you say? Jimin's face went completely still. Nothing? The secret grew heavier, and neither of them knew that by the end of the week, it would become impossible to hide. That evening, Jungkook found Jimin alone in the hallway. The lights were dim. The building was almost silent. Jimin was sitting on the floor with his back against the wall. His head was tilted backward. His eyes were closed. For a moment, Jungkook thought he was asleep. Then he noticed Jimin's hands. They were trembling. Jimin opened his eyes. He immediately smiled. Hey. Jungkook crouched beside him. What are you doing here? Resting. On the floor? It's comfortable. No, it isn't. It is when you're tired. Jungkook stared at him. You're shaking. Jimin looked down. He slowly placed his hands beneath his thighs. It's cold. It's not cold. Jimin laughed quietly. You always argue. Because you always lie. The smile disappeared. Silence filled the hallway. Jimin finally looked at him. You really think I'm lying? I think you're hiding something. Jimin's eyes softened. For a moment, Jungkook thought he might finally tell him. Instead, Jimin looked away.
Sometimes, he whispered, people worry too much when they don't need to. And sometimes people don't worry enough when they should. Jimin swallowed. You're tired, Jungkook. So are you. I'll be okay. When? Jimin didn't answer. Jungkook's voice became softer. Jimin, when? A long silence followed. Then Jimin smiled again. After tomorrow. What's tomorrow? Nothing. Jimin, I have something important to do. What? Jimin stood up. His knees nearly buckled. Jungkook caught his arm. For 1 second, Jimin's entire body leaned against him. Jungkook felt how light he was. Too light. And then Jimin pulled away. Don't tell anyone. Tell them what? That I almost fell. Jungkook stared at him. You expect me to pretend I didn't see that? Yes. Why? Jimin's eyes filled with something Jungkook couldn't understand. Fear. Not fear of being hurt. Fear of becoming a burden. Because, Jimin whispered, I don't want everyone to stop because of me. Jungkook's heart sank. Who told you you're a burden? No one. Then why do you think that? Jimin didn't answer. He simply smiled and walked away. The next day, Jimin disappeared. At first, no one thought much of it. He had told everyone he needed to take care of something personal. But Jungkook couldn't stop thinking about the previous night. Especially those words. I don't want everyone to stop because of me. He tried calling Jimin. No answer. He sent a message. Nothing. Another. Still nothing. By evening, Jungkook was pacing through the studio. He'll be fine, one of the others said. Jungkook nodded. Yeah, but his hands were cold. Then his phone rang. An unfamiliar number. Jungkook answered immediately. Hello? There was silence. Then a man's voice. Are you Jungkook? Yes. I'm calling because Jimin listed you as an emergency contact. The world seemed to stop. Jungkook's grip tightened around the phone. What happened? He's conscious, but where is he? The location was given. Jungkook didn't wait for anything else. He ran. The hospital hallway smelled like antiseptic and rain. Jungkook's shoes squeaked against the polished floor as he rushed toward the emergency department. His heart pounded. His mind refused to accept what was happening. Jimin, hospital, emergency contact. Those words didn't belong together. Not Jimin. Not the person who always smiled. Not the person who always said he was fine. When Jungkook finally saw him through the glass door, his breath caught. Jimin was lying on a hospital bed. An IV line ran into his arm. His face looked impossibly pale. His eyes were closed. And there was no smile. Jungkook stopped outside the room. For the first time, he saw Jimin without the mask, without the jokes, without the reassuring expression, without the endless I'm fine. He looked fragile, human, and exhausted. A doctor stepped out. Are you family? Jungkook hesitated. No. Then he looked through the glass again. But I'm his brother in everything except blood. The doctor studied him. He's been pushing himself far beyond what his body can handle. Jungkook's chest tightened. For how long? The doctor sighed. Long enough. Why didn't anyone know? He didn't want anyone to know. Jungkook closed his eyes. Of course. He finally understood. The tape. The trembling hands. The hallway. The words. After tomorrow. What happened today? He collapsed after trying to leave the hospital. Jungkook stared at him. He was already here? Yes. Why? The doctor paused. Because he had an appointment. What kind? The doctor glanced toward the room. You should ask him. Jungkook entered. Jimin's eyes opened slowly. For a moment, neither of them spoke. Then Jimin smiled. It was weak. Barely there. Hey, Jungkook felt tears burning his eyes. Don't! Jimin blinked. Don't what? Don't smile. The smile disappeared. Jungkook walked closer. You don't have to do that with me. Jimin looked away. I wasn't doing anything. Yes, you were. Jungkook sat beside him. You were smiling so I wouldn't know how scared you are. Jimin's lips trembled. I wasn't scared. Then look at me. Jimin didn't. Jimin. Slowly, Jimin turned. His eyes were wet. I didn't want you to see me like this. Why? Because you would worry. I already am. I knew you would. Then why did you hide it? Jimin's tears finally fell. Because I was afraid. The room became painfully quiet. Afraid of what? Jungkook asked. Jimin took a shaky breath. That one day everyone would look at me and see someone they had to take care of. Jungkook's eyes filled. You think that's what we see? I don't know. You should. Jimin covered his face with one hand. I was trying to protect everyone. By hurting yourself, I thought I could handle it. You couldn't. I know. Those two words broke something inside Jungkook. Jimin cried silently. I kept telling myself one more rehearsal, one more schedule, one more day, one more smile. His voice cracked. Then suddenly I realized I couldn't remember the last time. I woke up without feeling exhausted. Jungkook reached for his hand. Jimin didn't pull away. I should have noticed. No, I should have. No, Jungkook. I saw you falling. You caught me, but I didn't understand. Jimin squeezed his fingers. You weren't supposed to understand everything. That's what friends are for. Jimin looked at him. Are you angry? Yes. Jimin's eyes widened. Jungkook laughed through his tears. I'm angry because you scared me. Jimin's lips trembled. I'm sorry. Don't apologize. I scared you. Yes. I lied. Yes. I made you worry. Yes. Jimin smiled weakly. Then why are you holding my hand? Because I'm still here. Jimin's eyes filled again. Jungkook leaned closer. And I'm not going. Anywhere. For the first time in days, Jimin allowed himself to stop pretending. He cried. Not quietly. Not politely. Not with a smile afterward. He cried like someone who had been holding everything inside for too long. Jungkook stayed beside him. He didn't try to fix it. He didn't tell him to be strong. He simply held his hand. Outside the window, rain began to fall. And somewhere between the sound of raindrops and the steady rhythm of the monitor, Jimin whispered something that Jungkook would never forget. There was another reason I didn't tell you. Jungkook looked at him. What? Jimin hesitated. Then he reached toward the drawer beside his bed. His fingers trembled as he pulled out a folded piece of paper. Jungkook stared at it. What is that? Jimin handed it to him. I was going to give this to you tomorrow. Jungkook unfolded it. His expression changed. It wasn't a medical document. It wasn't a schedule. It was a letter. His name was written on the front. Jungkook. His hands began to shake. You wrote this for me? Jimin nodded. Why? Because I thought I might not have the courage to say it. Jungkook looked at him. Say what? Jimin looked toward the window. I was planning to step away for a while. Jungkook's heart dropped. From everything? Jimin nodded. I thought disappearing would be easier than admitting I couldn't keep up. Jungkook stared at the letter. And you were going to leave without telling me? I was going to tell you. When? Tomorrow. Jungkook closed his eyes. Tomorrow. Jimin nodded. Jungkook looked down at the letter again. He understood now. The strange behavior, the exhaustion, the secrecy, the way Jimin had been saying goodbye without anyone realizing it. Jimin wasn't just hiding pain. He had been preparing to disappear. Jungkook folded the letter carefully. Then he placed it on the table. You're not going anywhere alone. Jimin looked at him. What does that mean? It means if you need to step away, we step away. You can't do that. Why? Because you have your own life. So do you. Jimin looked down. I don't want to ruin yours. You won't. But, Jimin. Jungkook's voice was firm. You don't have to earn the right to be cared for. Jimin went silent. Those words seemed to reach somewhere deeper than anything else. A tear rolled down his cheek. Jungkook squeezed his hand. You kept smiling because you thought it would make everything easier. Jimin nodded slowly. But you don't have to smile for us anymore. The next morning, sunlight entered the hospital room. Jimin woke slowly. For a moment, he forgot where he was. Then he saw Jungkook asleep in the chair beside him. His head had fallen sideways. His hand was still holding Jimin's. Jimin smiled. But this time, it wasn't a mask. It was small, real. He whispered, "Thank you." Jungkook's eyes opened. "You're awake." "Yeah. How do you feel?"
Tired. Jungkook smiled. Good. Jimin laughed softly. Good. Because you finally answered honestly. Jimin looked at him. You stayed. I told you. You really meant it. I usually do. Jimin's smile grew. Then he looked toward the window. The sky was clear. For the first time in a long time, he didn't feel like he had to rush. No rehearsal. No performance. No pretending. Just another morning. Just breathing. Just being alive. And perhaps that was enough. Weeks later, when Jimin returned to the studio, everyone noticed something different. He still smiled. He still joked. He still danced. But now, when he was tired, he said so. When he needed a break, he took one. When someone asked if he was okay, sometimes he answered yes. Sometimes he answered no. And both answers were accepted. One evening, Jungkook watched him practicing in front of the mirror. Jimin caught his reflection. You're staring again. Jungkook grinned. I'm making sure you're not hiding anything. Jimin laughed. You're annoying. You're welcome. Jimin shook his head. Then the music started. He danced. Not because he was trying to prove he could survive another day. Not because he was afraid everyone would leave if he stopped. He danced because he wanted to. And when the song ended, he stood there breathing heavily. Jungkook approached. Tired? Jimin nodded. Very. Want to stop? Jimin looked at him. Then he smiled. Yeah. So they stopped. No guilt. No apology. No pretending. Just two friends walking out of the studio together while the city lights flickered beyond the windows. At the doorway, Jimin suddenly stopped. Jungkook. Do you remember what I told you at the hospital? You told me a lot of things. The one about smiling. Jungkook nodded. You said you didn't have to smile for us anymore. Yeah. Jimin looked at him. I think I finally understand. Understand what? Jimin's smile was gentle. That being strong doesn't always mean standing until you fall. Jungkook waited. Sometimes, Jimin continued. Being strong means admitting you need someone to catch you. Jungkook smiled. Then next time, fall toward me. Jimin laughed. I'll try. They walked away together. And perhaps the most important thing Jungkook ever realized was not that Jimin had been hiding his pain. It was that behind every smile, there had been a person silently hoping someone would notice. Someone would stay. Someone would say, you don't have to pretend with me. And this time, someone did. Jimin still smiled after that night. But the smile was different. It no longer meant, I'm fine. It meant, I'm here. I'm trying. And I'm not alone. Sometimes, that is the beginning of healing.